Hey guys, wanted to do a video here and let you know about what is going on in Texas and how Dan Patrick and Senator Perry are duping Texans and trying to pull the wool over our eyes regarding the THC ban here in Texas. As you know, earlier this year, the governor vetoed the marijuana ban bill or THC ban bill and directed during this special session that they revisit it in a way that isn't a total ban. Well, that's essentially what they're still doing. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. The bill, because what's interesting is I checked Monday. I checked to find out, okay, what hearings are scheduled, what bills have been filed, where is everything, right? Nothing had come up. There were no hearings other than disaster relief. Monday was the 21st. Apparently, after I checked, SB 5 was filed. Not only was SB 5 filed, but they waived the rules in order to overcome the 72-hour, the requirement for posting 72 hours of notice so that people were aware that, hey, there's a public hearing on a bill. So they filed it and waived it and held the hearing on Tuesday. The very next day, within 24 hours, SB 5 had a hearing. And guess who was? Guess who most of the people who were there to testify were? All of the law enforcement agencies. So by golly, they knew about the fact that there was a hearing on this THC ban bill, SB 5. But most people didn't know that there was a hearing on, because I didn't know. And it was so quick, and I just found out today, because someone said, oh, hey, the bill passed. I'm like, what bill? There hasn't even been a bill filed yet. There's only one filed by Representative Collier that I'm following. And so, yeah, on the 21st, they filed SB 5, waived the 72-hour notice requirement for a hearing, had the hearing the next day on the 22nd, which is Tuesday, voted it out of committee, 19-11, folks. That was the vote. It goes to the Senate, the full Senate. I don't know when the full Senate's going to hear it. I'm sorry, it wasn't 19-11. I'm sorry, that was a different vote. I'm mixing up two votes here. There's several bills I'm tracking. But it was voted out of the committee 10 to something, I think, or 9 to something. Either way, it was along party lines. The Republicans voted. Now, here's what's wrong with this bill. Okay, there's two things completely wrong with SB 5, and you need to contact your senator and you need to contact your representative, not your federal guys. Don't worry about Washington, D.C. Don't worry about Ted Cruz and whoever the other loser is that we have as a senator. You need to contact your state senator and you need to contact your state representative right as soon as you finish this video. Tell them to vote no on SB 5. I don't even know when it's going to do a full Senate vote. I'm hearing it's going to be Monday. That's what I'm hearing. If you go and you look on the Texas legislature online, it's not scheduled for a vote on Monday. But guess what? As of this last Monday, it wasn't scheduled for a hearing on Tuesday either. But they are trying to ram this through in a way that you and I don't get a voice on this bill. They didn't want to sit through and have to listen to you and me, average people. But by golly, they made sure everyone in law enforcement that was opposed to the legalization of THC, or at least keeping the status quo, they made sure those law enforcement people were there to testify, by golly, because they were all there in full force. The Texas Medical Association, the TML, the TMPA, Texas Association of Sheriffs, all of them people were there. I mean, there's a whole page of people who testified for SB 5. How many regular citizens were there? Maybe a handful. Probably people who lived in Austin who are lobbyists who, were probably tipped off maybe by a senator or something, but didn't have time to get anybody. I'm going to make, if it's not already shareable, I will make this video shareable because it needs to be shared. There's two things wrong with this bill, mainly. Two main things. There's a lot wrong with this bill. It bans any THC, anything. a microcosm of a gram. The only thing that it will allow, if this bill passes, is CBD and CBG. That's it. You can't manufacture it. You can't grow it. You can't sell it. You can't buy it. If it has any THC in it at all, it's banned. So first of all, you're not going to get a lot of people buying that stuff to begin with. Now, here's the worst part of it, right? The worst part is you're not going to be able to get CBD and CBG either. Why? Because SB 5 imposes, wait for it, a $20,000 license that if you want to sell these CBD products or these CBG products, these consumables, if you just want to sell them, you have to pay the Texas government $20,000 a year per shop. Per shop. Not per franchise, per shop. Everywhere you go right now, if you use CBD or you use THC gummies, or like I do, I'm going to admit I do that stuff. I shop at a very reputable place where I get my sleep and my pain gummy stuff, the CBD, THC stuff. And it's probably one of the higher end ones because I just want to trust it. I don't want crap. You know, if I'm going to buy this stuff, I want to make sure that I'm not going to get poisoned, right? Even they would not be able to afford an annual, ladies and gentlemen, $20,000 license. They have to renew this thing every single year. $20,000 for a license just to sell CBD products. And keep in mind, that's not CBD and THC products. It's only CBD and CBG products. That's on top of the fact that if you want to grow or process these things in Texas, it's a $10,000 annual license. So now it's a $10,000 annual license on the grower or the producer, and it's a $20,000 license on the small business person who's trying to help people suffering who don't want to be have their brain chemically changed through the pharmaceutical industry by having to take all these other pills and medications that CBD and THC, at least in my case, has made it possible to avoid. It's going to kill. There will be no CBD in Texas. There will be no CBG in Texas. There will be no THC. Oh, we're not doing a full ban. Look, you can still have CBD and CBG. No, you can't. Who can afford a $20,000 per year per location tax to be able to do that? So, ladies and gentlemen, SB 5. Contact your senators because it's going to go to the full floor. It's probably going to pass on a 1911 vote. I'm telling you right now, Pete Flores, do not vote for that. Do not vote to pass SB 5. Senator Flores, you reside over what is arguably the largest Senate district with veterans in it. And I can't even count on my hands and feet how many veterans I know in this area who rely upon this for pain management and sleep management and and nightmare management. I'm one of them. And this district, Senate District 24, San Antonio is probably the only district that's bigger, but I think they're split up into several districts, if I'm not mistaken. But San Antonio may be the only other district that's heavier, that's veteran heavy than this district. So you better believe I'm going to be calling Senator Perry's office to make sure that he votes against it when it goes to the full Senate. But you also need to contact your state representative. I've already contacted mine, and tell him or her, vote no on SB 5. And what you also need to do, go get yourself a Texas Legislature online account and follow and track SB 5 so that the minute it's scheduled for a hearing at the House, you show up. I will cancel a court date to be there if I have to. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I'm there to testify next time, because this idea of filing a bill and then waiving the rule for 72 hours notice so that the average citizen can come and take part in their own government, and they waive that, and within 24 hours, I would even say it's less than 24 hours, they have a hearing on this bill that nobody knows about. I have been tracking this thing every few days. I look to see, okay, is another bill filed? Has there been a bill filed? Nothing. I couldn't find it. And then on Monday, all these bills are filed, and SB 5 gets pushed through so that nobody can be there to testify except for all of these lobbyists. All right, guys, you know what to do. I'm going to leave you to it. Take care. Be safe. Be free.